The Trump administration affirming its commitment to defending religious freedom around the globe, meeting with survivors of religious persecution, and announcing a new international body to help millions of people suffering for their faith.
When Yu Huazhang told President Trump about the death of a Falun Gong practitioner, one day after being released from a Chinese prison, the president shook his head with a solemn expression. This is the first time this nation's leader met with a member of one of the most severely persecuted spiritual groups in China. Tens of millions of Falun Gong practitioners face the threat of torture and imprisonment every single day in mainland China. The president affirmed the U.S. position on defending religious freedom.
In America, we've always understood that our rights come from God, not from government. It's really an honor to be with you, and I will stand side by side with you forever.
Yu Huazhang is one of the 27 survivors of religious persecution invited to Washington for the largest freedom of faith event in the world. Other survivors also include Christians, Druze, and Tibetan Buddhists. 4 of the 27 are from China. Zhang's husband, also a practitioner of Falun Gong, is currently detained in China's Suzhou prison. She herself was repeatedly tortured during her 7 years in Chinese prison and labor camps.
I worry day and night about my husband. He could be tortured to death, like thousands of other Falun Gong practitioners have been.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo today also addressed the plight of the Chinese under the communist regime.
In September of last year, Chun Waixia, a member of the Falun Gong, was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison simply for practicing his faith. In China is home to one of the worst human rights crises of our time. It is truly the stain of the century.
Pompeo also announced today the creation of a new international body to campaign for religious freedom. Beijing promptly responded to the president's meeting with survivors, accusing the U.S. of interfering in China's internal affairs.
我必须指出，中国不存在所谓的宗教迫害情况。
But survivors say persecution of faith is not an internal affair, and any government with compassion will voice concern over it.
You don't have freedom to persecute others because of their belief.
The Trump administration has been weighing sanctions against Chinese officials over persecutions in Xinjiang.